Welcome back. Now in this video we're going to be talking about Camtasia projects, media, and recordings briefly. We talked about in the main course that you want to make use of Camtasia projects. So yes, you're going to record video. Yes, you're going to have a file that you're going to be working with. However, you want to be in the habit of also using the project files, which is any changes that you make, anything that you edit, anything that you add, any annotation that you make. When you save it over in that project, what happens is you haven't done anything to the original recording, and it gives you the opportunity to work with that original file over and over again in different ways. Project means that you're going to be able to save your edits in a file as you make them. And it also means you can work with multiple media sources. So in other words, if you want to bring in another video, if you want to bring in some other audio, if you want to bring in something that's not in the library, you can. And you don't have to worry about it causing any problems with something that you've previously done, or even causing any problems with the recording, because all of these things go along with or right on top of the recording when you actually use them. And the only way that you can make use of those things is that you have to use the project feature. So basically what a project does is it saves time. It saves you time from having to redo and restart videos once you have made a mistake. And this is a major thing to learn, that you want to make sure that you're saving the projects. Once you have corrected something, or even if you make a mistake, you can always go back and fix that mistake through the editing process. So don't record over and over again. Do one take and then just use your project file. You think of something that you want to insert into the video. You want to use a project. You think of something that you want to change about a project. You use the project file. Now this is an important concept to understand, especially as we approach this next concept in the next video, which is doing all your videos in one take. Something that we mentioned in the basic course, but we really want to kind of expand on that and let you know why this is important to do, why it saves time, and why it's going to affect how you do the rest of your videos. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about another concept, which is doing all your videos in one take. And you do have to understand concept we talked about previously, which is projects. Making sure that you're doing all your videos in one take. It requires that you use the project feature. Anytime that you add or change anything, you don't want to stop the recording and start another one over. You want to save even the mistakes to your project file. It's much more effective to do this and go back and edit out your mistakes. To do this, you want to be able to see on the timeline where you need to edit by putting a marker there. And we've shown you how to do this, but let's go over that again. And you can do that by going to the marker menu and then just going to this bar. And then you can do that again. You can do that as many times as you want to. And remember, you can also do this during the recording process by hitting the marker key while you're actually recording, which is again, yet another reason why you want to make sure that you are doing your videos with at least two screens. You want to be able to have that timing and that marker off to the side where you can click it, yet at the same time keep focused on what it is you're presenting. Now what some marketers, myself included, mark their own edit space by stopping, allowing a little silence to pass, and then clapping 3 times loudly near the mic, like this. What this does is this produces a visual effect on the audio timeline that'll look different than anything that you're doing if you're talking. And that means when you see those 3 claps, when you see that signal, that means then that that's where you need to go and focus your attention in editing. Now again, you can do this while you're actually recording. So while you're recording, if you're kind of cruising along and you're talking, and then you discover, oh, I should have said something else. What you want to do is you want to stop, clap 3 times, and then go back to the point where you should have said something different. And then you'll know how to determine where it is you're going to actually place your edit. But you mark the place at which you make the mistake during the recording process. And of course, as we said, all of this is going to be visible on the timeline. And as you do these things, you want to be able to keep your changes, and you save them as you go into your project file. Now, the other thing that you want to do, you want to make sure that you program the pause button as you record the way that you want it. And this is an important thing because you need to be able to pause the recording at the push of a button. If you try to do it by catching your mouse and trying to figure out where you're going to click on the actual recording toolbar, it'll keep you from finding the most accurate point and delay you in how you're going to be able to edit your video. So you want to make sure that pause button is programmed the way that you want it. And basically what that means is that when you look at your tools option inside your recording toolbar, you want to make sure that whatever you program this to be, that you know what it is. If it's going to be F9, it's going to be Control F9, that you're able to go to that button and you're able to click it in order to make the recording do what you want it to do. So there will be a default, but you can change that default to be whatever you want it to be. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about recording picture-in-picture video. And rather than go over some of the technical aspects of this process, it's kind of important to give you some ideas on how to think about this. And then the technical parts will be fairly simple. Picture-in-picture video is a good way to personalize your tutorial videos. What you're doing is you're putting an image or a video of yourself, typically in the bottom right-hand corner. And so if you think about seeing a square of yourself, your entire background, and you really giving life to the video, this is a great way of personalizing a PowerPoint video or even sometimes a screen share video. And what this does is allows you to protect yourself while you're explaining your concept. So it's not just you being detached from the subject. You are really giving people an idea, probably teaching someone an idea that either you agree with or something that you have some strong feelings about. Now, you do want to be aware of where you're going to be on the screen. And one of the things we talked about in the main course is the fact that you can put this square, you can organize it any place. You can put it any place on the screen. You can arrange it at the top right, top left, any place that you want. However, if you're going to be recording PowerPoint, or even if you're going to be recording screen share videos, you need to be aware while you're recording of where the video is going to be. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see the square while you're recording. So if you know you're going to be in the bottom right hand corner, you want to leave that area open, whether or not you're doing PowerPoint, whether or not you were doing screen sharing. And yes, you want to recreate your slides knowing where your video is going to appear. And this is especially going to be helpful because you don't want to go back and redo slides, or you don't want your video to overshadow the words. Remember, you're not using words to have people read, you're using words to enhance or bolster what it is you're trying to say in your video. Now, you could use your computer's webcam in order to do this, but it's probably going to be best that you get a webcam that will enhance this process. And it's recommended that you get a webcam like the Logitech 930E. There's a reason that this is a recommended camera. It's probably going to be a little more expensive than your average webcam, but it renders at 1920 by 1080, which is high definition, and it really uses less of your computer's processing power. In other words, the resources of the webcam run inside of the webcam, as opposed to other cameras where the resources run on the computer. That's very important because it keeps you from having latency in your video. It keeps you from having a mismatch between what's happening in the video and people hearing your words. And this makes a very credible video and actually keeps people paying attention. You can see the Logitech 930 right here, and actually it doesn't look different than any other webcam. What's most important, and even if you can't get this particular camera, you don't like this one, you want to get one where the resources do not have to run on the PC. That's the most important thing. That's what makes for the timing in your videos to be in sync with the actual webcam. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to talk about converting some of your project files to MP3. And in version 8 of Camtasia, which is what you're seeing on your screen, you're looking at the batch production. And what we're going to do is we're just going to grab some files here. And we're going to go through this process. And we're going to go and look at one particular preset, which is the MP3 preset. And it used to be that you could do just this, which is to convert, we're not going to go through this entire process, but you could convert a video using Camtasia to MP3. Now we're going to go to Camtasia 9. That feature no longer exists. So you can no longer use your batch to convert multiple videos into multiple MP3s. The other thing is that when you want to convert a file, you can export an audio to a WAV file or to an M4A file. But again, you cannot do this during a batch. Now, the only format that you can actually use during a batch, we're going to show you this. We're just going to go through this process. And if we were to look for a particular preset, we have one set up for new M4A audio. So we can actually run a batch job for M4A audio, but that's the only audio that we can run a batch for. So the way to convert multiple files at the same time is to bring them into your iTunes account. Now, if you don't have iTunes, iTunes is free in order to download to your hard drive. And once you actually have these files in a certain playlist, you can then highlight them all, and you can then create an MP3 version. So the process is a little more indirect. You're going to have to batch produce M4A files. You're going to pull those M4A files into iTunes, and then you're going to bulk turn them into MP3 versions just by highlighting them all and then clicking Create MP3 Versions. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about taking the batch job that you have run and then being able to finalize for production and delivery using a time-saving process. Once you've created all your videos, you're going to want to package them for delivery and for sale. And you can do this very easily with the ROM Zipper program. Now, with ROM Zipper, you can zip multiple files simultaneously. And the most important thing is that you have all your files in the same folder without any additional folder. Now, what this does is this makes the batch job that you just did easy to zip and easier to upload to your host in order to deliver them to your buyer. You can find ROM Zipper by just Googling download ROM Zipper. It is a free program. And once you get it on your hard drive, let's take a look and see what it will do. When ROM Zipper opens up, what you want to do is find the folders where your files are that you're going to want to work with. And we found ours. You're going to notice that there are 10 files. And what we want to do is we want to bundle these. And we want to bundle these all at once, and we want to bundle these quickly. Well, now that we have found the folder, all we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of our files, and then we're going to click Zip Files. And then we're going to figure out where we want them to go. We're going to put them in the very same drive where they came from. As soon as we click OK, ROM Zipper is going to start the process of bundling up our files. And you'll see that here in the left-hand corner. It doesn't take very long. And then what you'll see is you'll see the files come into view. And then all you really have to do then is take your files and upload them wherever you like to host them. And that's a very easy way of being able to bundle the content that you ran with the batch and then continue to save time to put your effort into other things. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we want to explore the drawing tool. So you're looking at your recording toolbar for Camtasia 9, and we're going to just start by clicking the record button. Remember, we get this message because we're actually using 2 instances of Camtasia. You will not see this warning message. When we click OK, the countdown will begin. Okay, we have Camtasia set to minimize to the toolbar, so we're going to bring this up. And what you're going to notice is that the effects menu comes up. And we've already seen where we can add a marker, but the part that we are going to look at right now is the screen drawing. And of course, if you're using multiple screens, this toolbar would be off to the side, so this will not be showing to your viewer. But this is a fairly useful tool. And what you'll notice is that when you click the screen draw button, the rest of the effects come available. Now what we can do is we can actually choose to use the pen, which we have, and let's see what the pen actually does. One of the things that it does is it draws. Right? And so this probably works extremely well if you have a tablet, but it works very well even if you don't. And you are able to draw lines on your presentation, which again lends to more of the credibility. Now, you don't have, with a mouse, it would be very difficult for you to write like this, but you can draw, and you can draw circles. And of course, we're able to do that in the editing process also. We can also explore where we can change the color. Right, so we can change it to blue. We can also change the width, so we can make the lines fairly thick. So once again, you see that we can use each of these effects and we can actually close this effect and do away with it. Now, the way that you would actually cause the writing to go away, so for example, if we were to draw a line around this circle, all we would need to do is to hit the escape key, and then the toolbar closes and the writing goes away. So once again, we decide on the pen we're going to use, the width, and then when we're tired of writing or we don't want to have it appear on the screen, we will click OK. And actually then we go back to being able to use our mouse. So once again, this drawing feature is a useful tool when you have information on PowerPoint and sometimes it's less dynamic than you'd like it to be. Well, this is one way of being able to keep your viewers' attention without having to do things with the animation or make your PowerPoint inconsistent. You keep your PowerPoint consistent, and then you use points of emphasis using tools like the screen draw program.